From the Keith Vincent Kayola Studios in Paterson, New Jersey, Green Hour Media proudly presents Is This Real? Tonight, what is the Stargate Project? What's behind it? Where did it get started? We'll talk about it. And now your host, JC3.
Welcome, everybody, to another fantastic episode of Is This Real?
Is this real?
Tonight's episode, as Big Joe said in the beginning, we are talking about the Stargate Project, or Project Stargate, and CIA. I'm guessing that's a CIA term.
The CIA?
The CIA. In the booth tonight, excuse my mic, I have Big Joe, as you heard him at the beginning. Big Joe, please say hello.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our program.
I have Sito looking like Hawaii Five-0 across. Sito,
Aloha!
I have Roadblock back in the booth. Roadblock, hello.
Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody?
Mr. West is in the building.
Mr. West is in the building. And by the way, Cito looks like Crockett. Not Crockett. What's the guy from Miami Vice? Tubbs.
Okay, cool. And I'm obviously JC3. And along with the Stargate Project tonight, gentlemen, we're also talking about clairvoyancies and precognition. So all that is into effect with all of this stuff as far as we continue our season with the mind. And this episode, gentlemen, is presented by Dubby! Go to w.gg, punch in the code IsThisRealPC, and you get 10% off all of the Dubby product that you buy with our code. So, again, we all have drank Dubby, right?
I have not yet. Sorry.
Oh, you haven't
Yes.
drank Dubby? How fucking dare you?
I'm sorry. I have other responsibilities.
And Dubby
You
will help
can
you
do those
solve those responsibilities.
in
By giving
5
you the
minutes.
By giving you the extra energy that you need.
And it won't help you beat up preschoolers.
If it doesn't let me beat up a daycare, I don't want it. I'm just saying.
How fucking
It'll
I
give you
don't
the energy
think,
to
I
beat
don't
up
think
2
we can
daycares.
correlate that with Dubby.
2 daycares. All right. So, what do we want to start with
We're
tonight,
joking.
gentlemen? Obviously, we don't have the Pope in the booth with us tonight. So I'll do it for him. He's the Pope.
He's at the Nope.
He's at the Nope. There you go, Dad. That's a good one. So he's always the Nope.
That's
so
hilarious.
we want to start about the Stargate Project. I know you
Yeah,
have
just one
some-
thing I want to correct you on. The Stargate Project it had nothing to do with the CIA. Okay,
the
the
DIA.
CIA.
So why does the CIA have
right,
files?
The DIA. The CIA. Well, the CIA
Yeah, I have a
got tired
whole
of watching
CIA.
this stuff, and they shut it down in 1995. And they shut it down, and they declassified it in 1995.
Well, I'm on CIA.gov, and they have an entire listing for it.
They have a lot of listings.
Because
They have a lot of listings for it.
it's declassified, so they can let all the stuff out. But they said it was never operational. They never use it in any kind of
Well, the CIA
war.
lies.
Well,
we all know that.
Right? Okay, I understand that. But as far as the official story of the Stargate Project,
We don't believe in the official story. We never
Okay.
do.
all right. So
You know
well,
that.
that's my contribution. So
That's why we sat there and we made this thing, because the official story never turns out to be the official story. All right, Sito, take it off for us. What do we have? We'll play off of you tonight as far as that, and I know I have some stuff on clairvoyancy later.
All right, so I'm gonna issue this now. It's a spoiler alert.
Oh man.
It's a couple years old already. If you haven't watched it, get to it. But it's about Stranger Things, and it'll actually explain it very well. So,
Damn, we did Stranger Things last week too.
So Project Stargate is actually very similar to the first season of actual Stranger Things, with 11 and trying to view actions during the 70s, especially during those times. We know of a favorite 4-letter country, nation,
USSR,
yes,
which is
Stalin?
now Maharashtra.
and basically, if you guys,
Stalin?
Yes, Stalin.
Joseph Stalin.
If you guys seen Stranger Things season 1, then it'll be very easily explained and understood. But for those who haven't,
I haven't watched it.
I haven't watched it.
Please explain to me.
How fucking dare you guys? I swear.
exactly. That's why I issued a spoiler
You think
alert.
Breaking Bad sucks?
I do think.
You
Breaking Bad sucks.
what?
Breaking Bad's
Anyways,
the best. I love
it's
that show.
not.
So yeah.
It's not better than The Sopranos. I'm sorry.
So yeah.
No,
Anyway,
Sopranos
Cito,
and
continue.
Sopranos.
so it was a project, and this source right here says it's done by the CIA.
It wasn't me, I swear.
Now,
we're because I'm taking mine from Wikipedia, so again, we'll take that with a grain of salt.
the CIA.
Well, I mean, to be honest, like,
He's on the website.
yeah, like he's on the CIA website.
That's what I'm
so
saying. I
not,
mean,
like,
I'm giving you information I'm getting from here, and it said it was started by the DIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency, and then later shut down by the CIA. So I don't know.
And some college, some nonprofit college institution in California too.
Yeah.
SRI.
all right,
Trying to
yeah.
figure out what that is. Anyways, but basically, it was a way to get ahead of the USSR and when it comes to psychology and the mind. It may have consisted of various things. I didn't get to look at everything in this.
Yeah,
because there are.
I was gonna say, but didn't like the U.S. believe that the Soviets were out here like actually like performing psychic stuff on
mind
people?
control stuff like that. It was actual thought process that, especially because of Red Scares and all that, it was a
Red Scares?
combination. Yeah.
Soviets taking over the United States.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Communism. The communisms are coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So combined with that of the whole public influence of Red Scares, it put tension on not just us citizens, but the government, especially in concerns of that there's talks of mind control, clairvoyance, like
The
they can see
Soviets.
things that we're doing.
Could this all lead? And I don't know if this is a thing. Like as far as when we talk about these projects, as far as like clairvoyancy and mind control and all that, we've been talking about that obviously all season. That's what our season topic is of. If you combine them all, especially as far as the government aspect, could they be in part, especially of how secret they are and they're performing all this shit on random citizens? My whole thing is, could they be a part of making like the super soldiers, quote unquote? Like, could that be a thing?
I don't see why not.
Super soldiers are
Like fucking
Manchurian
Captain America's, bro.
candidate. That's what it comes down to. And
Yeah,
they have been. I mean, I don't know if you ever saw the episode of what's the wrestler, Jesse Ventura. Okay, he did the conspiracy thing. He actually met up with one of these so-called super soldiers, and the guy just told him straight out. He stood there and he said to him, "Should I be afraid of you?" And he goes, "Maybe." And he goes, "I could drop you in 30 seconds. You'll never know what hit you, because there's things that I know that you'll never know." And it cost, according to some reports, it cost these people that were being mind manipulated and to being these super soldiers, it really hurt them in the long run, because they were actually changing their body structure as far as, and I think how they did it was they put it so far in their mind that they were indestructible, and over time they just
Believed it.
And I think that they trained them well enough, like SEALs. Like, there's certain aspects of our military that are better than others. Like the Navy SEALs are just one of them to be, and they're very good at what they do. So if
They kill people very good.
right. So if it's possible that they can do that now. Was this true with Jesse Ventura? I don't know, TV show, but I do believe that does go on. I mean, could it be part of this? Maybe.
One thing I do want to say about that is the mind changing the body. There are certain things, yes, it can do, but when it comes to like things like, oh, I can kill you under like maybe 10 seconds because of my speed or whatever, there has to be some extra form of enhancement to the physical body.
Oh,
Steroids.
Yeah, steroids and all that. Like, it's just not just the mind. But another thing to talk about when it comes to super soldiers is sleeper agents. That's another thing.
Oh, like the guys from Black Ops.
Black Mason. Like we all
Mason. The numbers,
the
Mason.
numbers, right?
The numbers, Mason.
Stuff like
What do
that.
they mean?
That's actually a very viable thing that actually could happen.
Oh, so basically, like it's when what's
But
his face in-
sleeper agents are a real thing, though.
But
Sleeper agents are a real
when
thing, yeah.
we're talking about Bucky and Marvel, he does whatever Russian word, and he just goes, okay.
Yeah, see, there's a programming. It's
Yeah.
because it's not just with
the
the numbers or whatever a word, right?
Mhm.
And becoming like this separate slave basically to a word and do it follow whatever orders.
It's hypnotism.
It's hypnotism.
Yeah,
and
remote viewing.
And goes into a very deep and intense form of hypnotism.
I wouldn't say that's a form of remote viewing, because wouldn't remote viewing have to be that you yourself are actually seeing something in a separate space?
Well, yeah, but they're using these people. That's what Stargate was.
That's what Stargate was.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about sleeper agents,
Yeah.
It's more of turning on a switch in the mind that will make them completely almost robotic. Do
And-
whatever they need to carry out,
Well,
and they won't even realize it.
well, the thing about it, like the
That's scary.
So what I have here is the Stargate was one of a number of remote viewing programs conducted under a variety of code names, including Sunstreak, Grill Flame, and Centerlane by DIA, and ISCOM and Scanate by CIA. So all these projects, all these agencies, these efforts were initiated to assess foreign programs in the field, contract for basic research into the phenomenon, and to evaluate controlled remote viewing as an intelligence tool.
See, I'm going to bring something up, and it's probably not going to be popular, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. If they can do this thing with super soldiers, what's to say they can't do it with anybody they want and put that person in a position?
Whoa, I like this conversation.
Well, if no, just hear me out here. What if they, like, we all know now they're preaching gun control. They all want gun control.
They've been preaching that for forever now.
Right. Now, my point is,
Last 20 years.
if the government,
My whole life.
if the government or certain aspects of the government behind it, what if they're creating these super soldiers that go into these places and just annihilate people or do whatever they do? I know it's a stretch. I get it. But you know what?
You know who's a real super soldier? Bruce Lee.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
he was.
Anywho,
The thing, I mean,
finish
you know,
his thought.
I see. I don't understand if they can do stuff like that, and they can make these people do what they want them to do. They can transform them into these super beings, whatever.
Well,
If they needed to promote an agenda for something,
Well, yeah.
issue
Couldn't they
with
do
that
that?
is the people who are doing these things aren't super beings. Like they're not.
right?
They're just everyday guy who wants to just at the shooting range that's like down like maybe a mile from his house.
well, I mean,
That's my point. That's
what I
exactly
could sit
my
there
point.
and say like it's not even that. I understand what Cede's saying. Like they're not super beings. Like these people aren't like
You
doing
don't have to be a super
super
being to run
mind controlled.
mind control.
Mind
That
control,
that could be
that-
something different.
it could be, but even then, there's a lot to go into it.
Like,
Oh, yeah,
The reason I brought that up
kind of
is
like
because
Iron Man 3, if anybody remembers that.
according to all reports,
Do you remember in Iron Man 2 or 3? Hold on, Iron Man 2 or 3 when they had the soldiers that were blowing up in areas.
Was that? I think that was 3.
I think that was
might
the-
have been the third one because the
Yeah.
second one was the guy with the whips.
Yeah. It was Iron Man 3.
yeah. So Iron Man 3, it's kind of like the same thing.
The reason
See, we're bringing culture into
the
this.
reason I brought that up is because in at least
For
one
all you
instance
Marvel fans.
that you can draw a parallel to would be the shooting of the kids up in Connecticut and the Aurora shooter in Colorado.
Yeah, both their fathers.
Both
were
their fathers
CIA
worked
people.
together for the CIA. So
Wasn't that the same thing? Wait, you said the guy from
Aurora
and the
Aurora.
Boston bomber, right?
No,
the
well-
guy that killed the I can't think of his name. Whatever.
The one for Sandy
the
Hook.
one in Sandy Hook.
Oh,
Killed 26.
oh yeah,
Right.
I've heard that.
So now there's at least a crossing pattern between these guys. Now I have no evidence either way, but I'm just wondering, and I wonder this all the time. Now the funny thing is, yesterday when this thing went down in Texas, normally they get all these people together and then they find the guy, they find whatever.
Well, they popped his ass. He's dumb.
They if you believe what you were told, and there's really no reason not to, I believe that now. Normally, when they get the guy, they plaster his picture all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that they're trying to just distract us from something.
Right now, they
What other bank closed?
right. So now they didn't have anything to do with.
Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
They didn't have anything. No one's released his name yet. No one's released any information about him yet. Why are we waiting? Why are we waiting?
Can we get back to remote viewing?
Well, it all comes down to mind control.
It does come back to because Stargates could eventually just lead out to different
Right.
Well,
it's
there's
like
a lot of
saying
things,
MK
like-
Ultra,
Yeah.
and then we got Stargates.
It-
They're
look.
all doing similar things.
It's funny because all these projects that we talk about, at least almost every episode, somehow, obviously, it's all connected to the brain, but it all leads back to another thing that to me, each episode of this season, if you break them down fully, can be lead to being the perfect human mind, the full potential of the human mind, as far as like remote viewing, stuff like that, and you're
Not
sitting
mind control.
mind control.
Not mind control, because basically what mind control is inferring is that you are using none of the human mind. And basically the way mind control works is, which we've understand how mind control makes someone almost like robotic and just do what they need to do and not even think about it, is because they're not using the human mind. They're activating a certain point of the human mind to continue forward.
Well, I don't think we've talked about this on mind control, because there is another aspect of mind control, which I don't know if it's really. I think it is mind control. I mean, if you want to get possession, someone using their own mind to possess somebody else's mind. Now, granted, I know that is an X-Men like fucking.
Very nice. It's a nice take though.
It is though. Like that is mind control. Like if somebody uses their own mind, if they possess those powers.
We're bringing demons into this shit.
What? I mean,
possession, yeah.
Well, possession. I'm talking about a human using, again, unlocking powers of the brain that like clairvoyancy is. I don't know if it's something that you born with, or you unlock.
It goes into
like I don't know if it's like a fucking checkpoint in life.
All right,
Well,
all
listen, man. If we over here unlocking powers, like that's. Listen, I should have been gotten my shotting gun, bro. I'll tell you that right now. I've seen some shit. I've seen some shit from 8 years old that I would have already unlocked them eyes, bro.
Okay.
3 tombs.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What I was gonna go into is that when it comes to, I feel like I'm not really a. When someone says mind control, I more think about the simple hypnotism, and not I'm going to control you, my mind.
Well, that's what I said. That's what we talked about, though.
Like I can understand.
That's an extreme that I'm talking about. Like it's never been
that's
proven
going
that someone
less
could do.
from psychological, because I can sit down and explain the way hypnotism works, bring up studies and show how it works. I can't explain how to control someone with my mind.
That's what I'm saying.
Like that's a very far extreme, and I think that's at that point less parapsychology, more supernatural.
I get that. I do want to go into what the participants of the Stargate project they had to do or demonstrate as far as the psychic abilities.
If you have that up, I don't.
I do have that up, and then we'll go into our first break. But so there's 3 different remote viewings that they had to go through. So coordinated remote viewing, which is CRV, the original SRI developed technique in which viewers were asked what they saw at specified geographic coordinates. Extended remote viewing, ERV, a hybrid relaxation / meditative based method. And then written remote viewing, which is WRV, a hybrid of both channeling and automatic writing, was introduced in 1988. Though it proved controversial and was regarded by some as less reliable.
So just to get it in my head, remote viewing is pretty much like if I'm here and I close my eyes, I'm gonna be seeing like next door type shit.
Yeah, that's what I always thought it was too.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
So basically, what they asked for these people to do is like, okay, we're gonna put like something on your brain, so we can not your brain, but like on your head, so we could sit there and
Monitor your brain activity.
Moderate, whatever the fuck.
Monitor.
There you go. Fuck off. All right. Monitor your brain activity.
Right.
And then they turn around and it's like, okay, here are the coordinates I want you to look for or look at. And
Tell
I
me
don't
what
know
you see.
how in their head they know where those coordinates are.
Yeah, that's my only issue with remote viewing.
It's like go 85 degrees north, 70 degrees south, and they're sitting there like, I got you.
That's like
My
my
first thing would be
only
like, where's
issue with
south?
remote viewing.
Like, it's
Especially if you're using it in like CIA and governmental, especially during this time, it'd be like, oh yeah, what are the Russians doing?
exactly, you know.
Yeah, first of all, I'm in an underground bunker with no sense of direction right now. Point me in the direction of Russia, and then I'll tell you something.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. To me, it would make more sense of like, here's a bottle of water that. Okay. Here's a bottle of water that Jimmy drank. Tell me where Jimmy is right now, because like you know how a dog gets a sense of smell, something like that. That would make more sense to me
get
in
a sense
remote
of
viewing
psychic.
than like here's what the coordinates are. Look where that what are those coordinates? Like you would really have to know like the X and Y axis of the fucking Earth to know what the fuck.
Maybe it's like what's that one mutant from X-Men that he can he can teleport and go anywhere, but he has to first be there in order to do that. It's almost kind of like instant transmission.
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler.
Yeah. Oh, maybe.
It could be something. It could be something like that. Maybe that's why it doesn't work.
Actually, no, it's because I think Nightcrawler just can teleport anywhere he wants.
I mean,
But
I've
he had
heard
to- but
he
he-
had
but
to at
from
least
the-
know what the surrounding area is.
He has to envision
that's
it.
the
Yeah.
one thing I like. If we're gonna argue like, oh yeah, directions, degrees, and all that, if they actually had pictures of like, oh yeah, look at this house, what's going on in this house, that's a different story.
Yeah, like if they give him like a precise detail, like
Mhm.
this house is on
Like if
latitude, longitude.
Follow Bill.
And
this is Bill. What is he doing right now?
What is Bill doing right now? Wait, let me. That would then you would have to follow like his aura. Like where the fuck do you know if Bill is? You know.
Is there
Bill
any
is
studies
seducing
of
his
this
wife
that-
again?
and stuff that has been documented that this stuff works?
Seducing.
It's kind of.
I love how we both went.
So there's this thing called ethics, and
I missed the question. What was it?
Is there any,
Is there any
documented
documents?
evidence that
They've
remote
tried.
viewing actually works?
Let's just put it like this: in this CIA project, they tried,
Okay.
but
DIA.
CIA, DIA, they tried, but more and more
IA.
they sat there
IA.
and were being told like,
Intelligence
yeah, that's
artificial.
not how you treat a person.
yeah, it's so according to the rule of ethics, no, we cannot do this.
Yeah, like, no, we
Aw.
cannot do that.
And then it's just like,
That is a
"Aw,
no
but
from me,
why?"
sir. But
According to the human nature, you should not be doing that to.
if you want to be a human being, no, you can't do that.
Aw, so I can't shock him.
No, you can't.
No.
All right.
You're not allowed to keep them in the basement for all their lives, and they don't have any sense of time, cardinal direction. Period.
But I
Yeah.
feed them.
Okay.
Yeah, one piece of bread a month.
Okay,
is not
I'm gonna
enough.
stop this here.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a short little
I
break.
don't have people in my basement.
What?
Everybody.
We're gonna
That would
take a
be your
short
brother.
mother. We're gonna take a short little break. We'll be right back. Please
Whoa.
stay with us. Hey everybody, I'm JC3,
And I'm Mr. West.
and this episode is brought to you by Dubby. Made by professionals in the USA, Dubby was formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crash. Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, including the patented neurofactor. You know what Dubby doesn't give you?
What is that?
No calories,
No calories.
no sugars,
No sugar.
no fillers,
No fillers.
and no artificial flavors. When the raw ingredients arrive to their FDA registered and inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP guidelines, they undergo a quarantine while a small sample of each ingredient is taken to test for any impurities, while also being tested to ensure that the ingredients are actually what they are supposed to be and have the proper dosage.
And once the ingredients pass all the tests, then they're cleared to get mixed into the formula. So head on over to dubby.gg and use our offer code IsThisRealPC for 10% off your first order. That's DUBBY.GG and use the code IsThisRealPC for 10% off. They have great flavors such as Galaxy Grenade, Dub Sludge, Passion Joy Tea, Monkey Madness, and Dragonade. My personal favorites.
Dragonade right here. I got Dragonade right here. Delicious.
Drink Dubby.
And be better.
These products are not intended to diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hello, this is JC3 speaking. If you want to know more about Is This Real Podcast and our parent company Green Hour Media, then visit greenhourmedia.org. You can find and follow all of our social media pages through our website. If you love our content, then you can support us by subscribing to our YouTube channel and our Patreon page. Remember, that is greenhourmedia.org.
And welcome back to our episode about the Stargate Project, clairvoyancy, remote viewing, all that hoobada blah 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 stuff. Our episode again is brought to you by Dubby. Go to dubby.gg, punch in the code Is This Real for 10% off all your Dubby products.
Buy that shit.
By
It
the
gives
Dubby.
you energy.
And look, guys, I just want to show you one thing before we get really into it. I bought this shirt this weekend at our store. Look at it. Look at it. Get mentally fucked. Season 9. You can buy those shirts on our what is that called again?
Website?
Our website. What is it? Spreadshop, right? Spreadshirt.
Spreadshop.
Spreadshirt.com. And you
Go
can
to www.greenhourmedia.org.
Yeah, go to our website.
go to our
It's there.
website and you can get that. I'm horrible at that. Don't
and
worry.
just maneuver over to the store page, and then you'll see exactly.
It says
where
Spreadshirt right on our
yeah,
thing.
it's a
Anyways,
really.
so now that we plugged in our whole website, let's just plug into the TikTok. Is this real PC?
Oh yeah, Is This Real PC?
We
If
do lives after shows.
We do lives at the show. If you want to get judged, go to Is This Real PC?
I am not friendly.
No, we're not friendly at all. But yes,
You may
all
have
right.
an amazing personality, but I am not friendly. I'm not here for
back
that shit.
to our episode, guys. So do we want to continue with the Stargate project? Because I do have a little more information.
whatever.
Well,
you
that
have.
was the title of the program, so.
All right, okay, I'll just go fuck myself. All right, so by 1995, the program had conducted 700 intelligence collection projects involving thousands of remote viewing sessions. So that answered your question right there, Dad. Notable successes were said to be 8 martini results, so-called because the remote viewing data were so mind-boggling that everyone has to go out and drink 8 martinis to recover. Reported intelligence...
Stop. The results were that bad. They had to go get 8
Eight.
martinis.
Yes.
They had to drink thought juice.
I want to know what type of research they be
Thought
doing.
juice?
Yeah,
What?
yeah, you never heard of that?
No.
No.
Y'all
2
never heard of
years.
thought juice, bro.
No.
How you from Patterson? You never heard of thought juice?
I'm not from Patterson.
I mean, I know what thought juice is, but I never heard it as fucking martinis.
Yeah, it's
Think
thought
about it.
juice.
Think about it. What do women mostly drink?
Around here?
Not around here, just in general.
Well, when I think of martinis, I think of a classy woman. I don't think of a thought.
Yeah.
It turns a classy woman into a
Into a little thought.
T-H-O-T.
Shoddy
That hoe
McBody.
out there.
All right,
That's what
let's
thought
get
stands for.
let's get back to the fucking project. All right,
Okay.
no more thought talk.
I'm not generalizing you women.
Anywho,
Y'all
Sounds
just
like
be
a
y'all just be
pod-
sucking mad dick.
so thought talk,
Can I make that a podcast?
thought talk.
Yes.
If you want, hey, Patreon content. There you
Next.
go, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, so here are the 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's more than 8 here, but whatever. So Joe McMoneagle, a retired special intelligence officer, special project intelligence officer.
Oh my God.
Fuck you for PD, SSD, and 902D MI group.
You just
I have
talked to
no
me in
idea
code. He just talked
what
to
the
me in
fuck
computer
any
code.
of those are.
He just talked to me in computer code.
Shut up. Claims to have left Stargate in 1984 with a Legion of Merit Award for providing information on 150 targets that were unavailable from other sources. So apparently from the Stargate project, he saw 150 targets, and he was like, "Thank you for your service," and he left, and he got a Merit Award for it.
In a little bit, I'll give you a little more of a background on that guy. He claims he had a remarkable memory of very early childhood events. He grew up surrounded by alcoholism, abuse, and poverty. As a child, he had visions of at night when he was scared and began to hone his psychic abilities and his teens for his own protection when he hitchhiked.
We're lucky he didn't start killing people.
He enlisted to get away. McMoneagle, whatever his name is, became an experimental remote viewer while serving the U.S. Army intelligence.
Yeah, my boy sounds like this is an origin story. That's what that sounded like.
That is an origin.
This is
Uh,
his mutant origin story.
Yeah, seriously. In 1974, one remote viewer appeared to have correctly described an airfield with a large gantry on and crane at one end of the field. The airfield had given map coordinates was the Soviet nuclear testing area at Semipalatinsk, whatever the fuck that Russian name is, a possible underground nuclear testing site, or Peanuts. That's what they called it.
You could have just called it
Peanuts. Fuck you. In general, however, most of the receiver's data was incorrect and could not be evaluated. A remote viewer was tasked to locate a Soviet Tu-95 bomber, which had crashed somewhere in Africa, which he allegedly did within several miles of the actual wreckage. I mean, couldn't you just get, like, the last pinned air location and be like, oh, you know, it was last pinned here. It could be crashed within 50 miles here. And they're like, oh my god, remote viewing. Could that be something that happened?
Could be.
In 1974, they were tracking airplanes at that point, weren't they? Or like bombers and stuff like that.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
they have radar.
Yeah.
They've been have radar.
In September 1979, the National Security Council staff asked about a Soviet submarine under construction.
Ooh.
The remote viewer reported a very large new submarine with 18 to 20 missile launch tubes and a large flat area at the aft end would be launched in 100 days. Two subs, one with 24 launch tubes and the other with 20 launch tubes and a large flat aft deck, were reportedly sighted in 120 days. So that's another thing that, I mean, they didn't have any intelligence on these things, and they're saying that this remote viewer did.
That's not a bad guess, though.
I mean, it's not at all, obviously. I mean, one assignment included locating kidnapped BG James L. Dozier, who had been kidnapped by the Red Brigades in Italy in 1981. He was freed by Italian police after 42 days, apparently without help from the psychics. According to new reports, Italian police were assisted by U.S. State and Defense Department specialists using electronic surveillance equipment, an apparent reference to the Special Collection Service. Another assignment included trying to hunt down Gaddafi before the 1986 bombing of Libya, but Gaddafi was not injured in the bombing. What?
I think slow. There's not a
Gaddafi Duck? Is that the same guy?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
That guy, yeah.
In February 1988, DIA asked where Marine Corps Colonel William Higgins was being held in Lebanon.
Where is he?
A remote viewer stated that Higgins was in a specific building in a specific South Lebanon village, and a released hostage later said to have claimed that Higgins had probably been in that building in that time.
Probably.
So they're holding these hostages in this building. Probably he's going to be there. That's what he said. In January 1989, DOD...
Nothing like good old U.S. taxpayer money to back programs like this, huh?
In January 1989, DOD was said to have asked about Libyan chemical weapons work. A remote viewer reported that a ship named either Patua or Patoa or Potua would sail from Tripoli to transport chemicals to an eastern Libyan port. Reportedly, a ship named Batota, like potato, but Batota.
Batata?
Yeah, loaded in undetermined cargo in Tripoli and brought it to an eastern Libyan port.
Okay, let me ask you a question because we're sitting there going through all this. Any of these sources credible? I mean, were they talking to people that were predicting this stuff? Were they in the military as they were predicting it? In other words, did they work for the military and they were just asking
They were
them?
guinea pigs.
Well, no, they were. I mean, if they worked for the military, then yes. I mean, they were military people that they turned around and said, you know, we're doing these things on. They weren't just like, hey, Josh, do you want to come remote view? We're going to teach you how to remote view.
See, that's
Like,
my
this-
question.
They didn't do that.
Now,
They wouldn't ask.
to
you.
me,
They
it
would just
sounds.
kidnap you.
To me, it just sounds like these people had prior knowledge
that's
of
what I'm trying to
some
get
type
to,
of
yeah.
military, and they tried to. They just took a wild
Okay.
guess.
This is the thing with remote viewing, clairvoyance, and all that. It can go either two ways. You believe it,
Or you don't.
or that's just a really lucky guess.
Yeah.
Like it's you do or you don't.
I think the most it's good. Not to cut you off. Well, I am cutting you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
Not to cut you off.
Only that submarine one is probably like the most believable one out of all those.
Well, I do have 4 more.
Oh god.
Submarine, I do have to say, is believable, especially because if there's no prior intel, especially because this
They
is
just
also
guessed.
during those times of
And they just said like, oh, it's gonna be launched in like 100 days, and it
100
launched
days, they're near-
115. Like that's not a bad guess.
they're
bro.
near the what was it, missile tubes or what,
Yeah, the how many
silos and stuff.
Missile
silos and all
silos,
that
yeah.
that they have. They were relatively close.
Is that the one and only thing he said about the
Oh no, and then it had
Or
a
was there-
large aft deck.
A large
And
aft
one-
deck.
No. I mean, did he say that just that, and that was that specific, or did he give a group of scenarios?
No,
that
it was
could be?
just
Pick
that.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like one of these submarines has 15 to 20 missile launchers and they have a large aft deck.
See, I'm not seeing enough here. That's what I'm trying to.
It's
get
very,
to.
it's a very general,
It's very vague.
It's a very
Yeah.
general thing.
general vague thing.
But
You know,
there's an issue with that. People say, "Oh, it's general," but that's very general for specific military submarines, especially because
especially
people,
during that time. Yeah.
especially during that time, but especially because I'm pretty sure most of these people weren't even in the military.
I don't know about that. I
We-
mean,
We don't know any
yeah,
of
I
these
mean,
subjects.
they're
of
they're
origin.
saying quote unquote a remote viewer, but we have two of them that obviously, like Joe he was a retired special officer. You know, like
Well, that was one of them, but we don't know all of them if they're retired special officers.
no, I know that. Yeah. All right, so for the four I have left, so reportedly a remote viewer saw that a KGB colonel caught spying in South Africa had been smuggling information using a pocket calculator containing a communications device. It is said that questioning report these lines by South African intelligence led to the spy to cooperate. This next one's actually pretty interesting because it never fucking happened. During the Gulf War, remote viewers were reported to have suggested the whereabouts of Iraq's Saddam Hussein, though there was never an independent verification of his findings.
Please don't. I don't want to hear about Saddam Hussein. I don't want to hear about Bin Laden. I don't want to hear because this. You know what?
Isn't
Then
he
you're
banging
gonna.
the
I'm
devil in
trying to
South
be.
Park?
I'm trying to keep this.
Yes.
You know.
Well, I have two
Please.
more. Ready? The unit was tasked to find plutonium in North Korea in 1994, apparently without notable success. So they didn't find plutonium in 1994. Remote viewers were also said to have helped find Scud missiles. Wow. Scud missiles in secret biological and chemical warfare projects, and to have located and identified the purposes of tunnels and extensive underground facilities. So that's what these, out of thousands, well, not thousands, yeah, involving thousands of remote viewing sessions, 700 intelligence collection projects themselves with thousands of remote viewing sessions. These are the most quote-unquote successful ones.
There's two things that I can bring up to mind. Two quotes. One is a broken clock is right twice a day. Second one, even the sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while. And to me, I
mean,
need
basically
more,
guess. If you're gonna guess how many times you're gonna guess,
you know what?
you have to be right at least once.
You want me? You want
know,
if
like-
you want to be? I mean, that's like literally like taking a bunch of darts and throwing it at a target, and saying, you know what?
Well, if you don't believe it, but if these people actually sit there and believe that, you know,
Here's the thing, and I will argue against you on this, is depending on who is these remote viewers, you could say, oh yeah, anyone could take a guess onto it. But say if it was a newly enlisted soldier who had really no idea about Russian mechanics and submarines. But if they were just enlisted and he was enlisted at one of these remote viewers, he wouldn't have any of that information.
Is
He wouldn't
anybody-
know, it would have been reported.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Locations wouldn't be reported, even if they track airplanes.
Mhm.
7 miles off. If that was correct, and they did give him like, it was this coordinates.
yeah.
Even in a 50, 100-mile radius, to guess 7 miles off, you have to admit that's not nearly as
Well,
bad.
no. What I also think. Okay. What
In
I
the
also.
70s?
Yeah. What I also think
It's not
too.
that bad.
What I also think too. It should be. You should go to the success rate of the remote viewer. Like that's why they don't want to.
We need one that goes 100 for 100.
Not 100 for 100. Like if he's right,
He's right.
especially for these circumstances, if he's right more than 50% of the time.
But here's another issue with remote viewing. It's happening at real time.
Yeah.
Anything could change. For example, if a remote viewer was looking at you now, and in 30 minutes, we end the podcast, we go home, or like Eric, let's use Eric. We end the podcast now. They're watching him. The government
watching
knows
me.
the government knows he's here right now. But the moment they come in, he's not here because they're not looking at him in real time no more.
You're right.
That's
I
another
get you.
thing about remote viewing.
They some bitches.
It's
What?
not prediction of the future. It is current real time.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah. I mean, that's why you have to sit there and you have to write it down of this is what's happening right now, you know. How are we doing with time? Are we past our 15-minute mark, Mr. Roadblock, Mr. Silent over there?
We're at 42 minutes, just so you know.
We're at 42 minutes. Just let you know. Damn. Speak up, boy. I'm gonna get stabbed.
That boy came out
That was
Chad bit Southern. You know what I'm saying?
that one came a little too much from his soul, if you know what I'm
Right?
saying.
Too much for my roots? No? Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
actually,
and back to your roots. That if anything, that's
I'm
what you
actually a
sounded like.
little bit tight that he said that with 2 brown people next to him.
There's 3 brown people in the room.
Yeah, but he's on the other side.
I'll say it again.
Me and
full
him can
chest.
reach you
Do it.
quicker.
Anywho,
Do it. Say
I'll go
it.
back to my roots.
put the chancla away. Anywho, I do want to get into some real, just to get into clairvoyancy, because we do have.
Clairvoyancy, but I do want to go into prophecies as well.
We'll talk about prophecies after the break,
Yeah.
and we'll spend. I want to do quick on some clairvoyant stuff, because I think some clairvoyant things actually is. They, as far as mysteries, like they've helped solve mysteries, missing persons.
Again, clairvoyancy and remote viewing are two different
Two different things, yes. Clairvoyancy is something where you're remembering something in the past and getting the energy of that area.
Or you're seeing something in real time that's really there.
Well, that's remote viewing.
No, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. When you go into a haunted house and you can see, like Lorraine Warren, she's a clairvoyant.
But she's also remembering stuff. Not remembering, but she's getting the
well,
energy.
She can read energy. She
from
has that,
what there.
right, but she's a special case. It's like, to me, I find that more believable than.
So I'm gonna just pick 4 cases.
Either way, somebody's got to give me the fucking. I want somebody to give me the lottery numbers.
Nobody has done that yet, motherfuckers.
Well, you know what? That's what I want.
It's too easy. I'm not gonna do it to you. Fuck you, people, for not giving lottery numbers. Anywho,
Please give me the lottery.
so obviously,
That's 90-something million right now, bro.
Mm.
Do a lot of damage with that. I could spend that all in a day. You know
Jesus Christ, here we go.
I could pay off my college.
that? I could spend that in a day.
So clairvoyancy, people.
I can.
Let's get into the definition of it. So clairvoyancy is the magical ability to gain information about an object, person, location, or physical event through extrasensory perception. Any person who's claimed to have such ability is called a clairvoyant. So this mostly deals with paranormal or solving crimes. Like, for some reason, people just bring in clairvoyance to solve crimes, and it's worked apparently. So that's what I have here. Like, I know we're doing kind of like a sidestep to clairvoyancy after talking about the Stargate project and
But they're
remote
both
viewing.
roughly very similar.
Roughly very, very similar. So the disappearance of Andre Daggle.
Daggle.
And if you want more true crime stuff on our Patreon, we do talk about true crime with our show, Is This Real True Crime?
Which
Nice
you can
plug-in.
get for $5.
Nice
$5 American.
$5 That
So-
is like 5 Arizonas that you can get.
Dude, Arizona's like $1.50 now.
Get the fuck out of here.
Nah.
Get the fuck out of here.
You know they took
Yeah.
away the $1.50 slices or the dollar slices
Yeah.
in New York?
Yeah, I know that. I know about that one.
Okay,
I was devastated.
okay.
I'm sorry.
The
Those slices weren't
disappearance.
even all that good, though, to be honest.
West.
Yeah, but they're
Focus.
No.
The disappearance of Andre Daggle.
Daggle.
On June 9th, 1987, 27-year-old New Orleans resident Andre Daggle
Daggle.
met a friend for dinner and a few
it
rounds
Daggle?
of pool. No, it's Daggle. It turned into a long night of drinking, after which Daggle was never seen alive again.
Oh,
When the
wow.
news of Daggle's disappearance reached his sister, Elisa McGinley, in Southern California, she sought the help of psychic Rosemary Kerr to pick up where New Orleans police, who didn't suspect foul play, had left off. Kerr had placed a finger on a photo of Daggle and sensed immediately that he was dead, according to her testimony in the murder trial that followed. Kerr was also correctly identified where Daggle's body would have been found. A New Orleans swamp where he was found. The discovery helped break the case, which resulted in the conviction of 2 men who ended up testifying that they killed Daggle for sport. Kerr, who died in 2015, was the first psychic ever to be placed on a witness stand in a murder trial. So they just turned around and said, yeah, we killed him for fun.
I've never heard that before.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my.
I just wanted to get my rocks off. He was the first one there, so we
He
did.
just, you know,
He just killed them for sport,
came into the sight line and said, "Yeah,
Some
he looks good."
Some people go fishing. I kill people. That's what they were saying, not me. I don't kill people.
Hey,
So-
today they had a guy come in from California to visit his brother in Utah. Okay, walks up to the door, rings
Fucking Utah.
the ring bell. You can see what he's doing, right? Yeah, brother answers the door. He says, "Man, how you doing, man? Where's it now? They haven't seen each other in a while." He goes, "Where's your wife?" She.
I don't like this.
Yeah, she's like, I don't. He's like, I don't know. She's been somewhere for. He goes, "Oh yeah, how long has she been there?" And next thing you know, the guy pulls out a fucking gun, and you see him blow his brother away. Shoots him right there in the door. And all you hear is a screaming and yelling, and it turns out his wife was home. He killed the wife, too. So people fucking kill for sport now.
Jesus Christ.
They're killing me. That video is on foxnews.com if you want to see it. It's fucked.
All right, so let's get back to more murder.
Okay.
The murders of Amy Hoffman and Deidre O'Brien. On November 23rd, 1982, 18-year-old Amy Hoffman left her part-time job at a shopping mall in Morristown, New Jersey. Hey, New Jersey! Sorry, nobody was going to do that.
No, a
Cool.
bitch is dead.
But apparently she never got farther than the parking lot.
Exactly.
The next day, her car was found where she had parked it. The driver door open. Foul play was immediately suspected. When police came up empty-handed, they approached Nancy Weber, a local psychic they'd successfully worked with in the past. Nancy, who had already had visions of Hoffman's body and the assault weapon, and the assault she had endured before being killed, led police down an investigation trail that ultimately ended with the murder conviction of James Kodachik, who had struck again in the meantime, killing 25-year-old Deidre O'Brien. So he killed two people, and this clairvoyant led them to this man's arrest. So that's 2 for 2 for these people.
Good for
Go clairvoyance.
them. Go for them.
So are we believing in clairvoyancy right now? Do you believe in clairvoyancy, Dan?
I'm not gonna deny it.
Yeah, I don't have enough to say no, it doesn't exist, because it obviously has helped some in some aspects. It has helped in some police investigations. Do I believe it's widespread? No. I do believe that certain people are born with this gift. And don't forget, we still, in 2023, we still don't know how the mind works. We have some ideas. We use 5% of our brain. You got 95% out there that's like, seriously, what can we do with it? And if you look at the world, it shows. So,
people are stupid.
People are
Just in general.
If we all start using our brain a little more and all became thoughtful, maybe it'd be a different story, but we're not. However, different podcast. I believe it does exist, but I believe it's very, very rare. I don't believe it's like, I get up one day and I can tell fucking, what's going to happen in the thing. Especially when it happens when certain ones are put to the test and they pass the test. They find dead bodies, or they find criminals or something like that no one else would know. And kind of like a bloodhound. You give a bloodhound a shirt and you can chase the person down and find them.
All right, Cito, you believe? I know we're doing this a little early, but do you believe in clairvoyancy? Because I do. Obviously, we all talked about the Stargate project. Well, some of us talked about the Stargate project. I'm not going to shout you out here. But, and basically we're like, remote viewing is an iffy type thing, But as far as clairvoyancy, I only talked about 2 projects, but I do want to get to a break, and I do want to get to your other topic before. So I just want to real quick, clairvoyancy. Do you believe in it?
So just like I'm iffy about it because the same arguments that were said for Stargaze, that it was just a good guess, it could be the same thing said for clairvoyancy. Oh, guy, he died. Where? Swamp. That's an obvious place to hide a body at.
Especially New Orleans.
Especially in New Orleans. You can guess that. That's not too far-fetched. Just like how it was not too far-fetched that any argument given for any of those were. So, like I said, my issue is like, unless I meet one, they tell me, oh yes, this is going on right now, or this is what happened, and it leads me to it, that I can say 100% proof that it was, and it wasn't just a good guess, I'm always going to be like, that's just a good guess, or I could slightly believe it. I'm teetering this fence of, okay, it may be true, it may be not. It's just some stories sound, yeah, that was a guess, but some stories like, that's impressive.
Yeah, I get
It
you.
gets a little hard as the more and more you read. Like, the more convoluted it gets. Like,
Yeah.
see, that was very specific. Like, oh yeah, Billy Bob Joe, he died. Like, let's use New York City. He died in Manhattan, but his body can be found at the very edge of Queens or something like that, right? Like, that's a little more specific compared to, like, the swamp in New Orleans. Like, let's be honest. Let's just think about how much possible bodies could be there.
A lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fuck.
So that's my
maybe
thing.
not that many because the Gators got to them.
Well, exactly. The Gators got to them, but the possibility, though, is very open.
He's not
But-
wrong.
I'm not wrong.
I didn't say you were.
You
That's
just
my
looked at me
opinion
like
on it.
disappointed. Like, how could you say something like that? But because
Dude.
this is truth.
Okay, I'll be honest, dude.
There's snakes and pythons
90%
and
of the
shit
shit
out there.
that comes out of your mouth, I look at you with a disappointed face. Okay,
There's still truth to it, though.
there is, and that's why I look at you disappointedly. All right, Roblox, clairvoyancy, believe, yes, no.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm kind of on the fence about it. I mean, yeah, it could be lucky guesses. Yeah, it could be like accurate actually happens, but I feel like that's something I probably have to experience for myself, to be honest.
All right, Mr. West,
I'm not gonna deny it.
is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Asshole.
Better than no
Um,
or yes.
So for my whole thing with clairvoyancy is I think I'm on the fence with it also, because for me, if I'm gonna believe in like something like clairvoyancy or something, like I do believe in Lorraine Warren. Like I do believe the shit that she.
So then you believe that she's. So then you do believe.
I do. I think that's a specific case as far as like her abilities, because I do believe in ghosts and I do believe in afterlife and shit like that. So there is an energy there. So if you're basing your energy off of that and you're believing that,
Vibes,
you know,
right?
the vibes off the energy of the people who have died or who have
And
passed
she's
away.
also
or-
been very accurate over and
that's
over
what she
and over.
has been very accurate.
So, you know, that's got to count for something.
Good repertoire.
Yeah.
You know, you can't.
The problem I have with that though is I don't know if it goes into the same area, but if you're gonna believe in clairvoyancy, remote viewing, and stuff like that, don't you have to believe in tarot cards too?
Not really.
That's
Well,
witchcraft.
see, now, hold on a minute. There's where now you're going to get into a different area. Tarot cards are very simple. They can be manipulated if you believe, okay, by what do I want to say? Supernatural forces. And yes, they do believe. She did believe in that. She believed in automatic writing. She believed in clairvoyance. She believed in all that kind of stuff. She believed in the Ouija board, all this stuff, because that stuff, especially the Ouija board, has proved itself over and over again. Now,
Fuck the Ouija board.
okay, did she believe in it? Yeah, and she
What a
also
hard
told,
F.
and she said to you, she told you, don't fool with this stuff, because these are the possibilities of what could happen.
Yeah.
And you know, you can choose to believe it, you can choose not to believe
yeah.
it, but I wouldn't want to take that chance.
I
and
believe
use
it,
it.
but it's just fucking witchcraft.
It
and
is
demon
witchcraft.
shit.
There's black magic. It's black magic.
Black
related.
magic, satanic shit.
That's
Well,
all it is.
It is. There's no question.
He's
don't
literally the Paulie Walnuts of our group. That's satanic black magic bullshit.
We don't fuck with that.
Sick
All right.
shit.
We got God on
Sick
this
shit.
side.
All right, so we're gonna take a short little
And
break,
then there's block.
and then we're going to talk about predictions, I believe, right?
Predictions, prophecies,
prophecy, stuff like that. And then we'll end the episode. So please stick with us. We'll be right back.
If you liked this video today, please click the like and subscribe button and make sure to hit the notification icon to keep up with all our videos.
And welcome welcome back to our episode about the Stargate Project and clairvoyancy, and now we're doing projections and not projections, prophecy, stuff like that. But you know what all that is presented by, guys?
Dubby.
Go to w.gg, punch in the code is Israel PC, all one word, for 10% off all your Dubby products.
That makes you Future Sight and Star.
You get to see everything.
You see everything.
The entire timeline with Dubby.
Buy that shit.
So Sito, you wanted to talk about prophecies, and bring on the prophecies. Let's talk about Nostradamus.
Prophecies. Yeah, I was gonna go into Nostradamus because just like clairvoyance, just like this sites that was going with Stargaze, I completely forgot the name already.
Stargate.
So there was a trend of the present with Stargate, the past with clairvoyance. So I thought I'll just bring up the future.
All right, I get you.
And so this is why I'm bringing up Michael Nostradamus. So for those who don't know,
was Michael?
It was.
I thought it was Mikhail.
It was Mikhail Nostradamus, Americanized or Englandized as Michael Nostradamus. He's a French astrologer from the 1400s and has a book of prophecies or quartains, basically small little prophecies all separated into different things. And there are some predictions that he has made that people are trying to correlate with actual events. Like
example,
one, I will read it and I want to see if you guys would understand.
Hit me with your best shot.
So let me get the right one.
Away, bro.
There's multiple ones. So, by fire he will destroy their city. A cold and cruel heart. Blood will pour, mercy to none. Earth-shaking fire from the center of the earth will cause the towers around the new city to shake. Two great rocks from a long time will make war. And the Arthusa will color a new red river.
It's 9/11.
I don't see 9/11. I mean, I may be predicting
New city will shake. Fire.
Well,
Is
what
that
I heard.
Pompeii?
Yeah, I heard Pompeii for that. Fire from the center of the earth. That is a volcano.
Think about it as, because if there's more. So at 45 degrees north,
Yeah, because you said two rocks will be at war with each other. That was the big part right there.
I mean, he could be talking about countries at war with each other.
Earth-shaking fire will here's the exact. Earth-shaking fire from the center of the earth will cause two towers around this new city to shake. Two towers around the new city to shake.
Yeah, but no fire from the center of the earth caused 9/11 to shake. It was just a fucking airplane.
But remember, this is from the 1400s, and he wouldn't know how to explain that.
Yeah, I get that. To me, with something like that is a very
loose.
It's a very loose.
And that's what I'm saying. It goes back to those other things, very loose, but also
it's very.
Well, either way,
very loose.
Sorry, Pompeii happened way after that shit, anyways, right?
Pompeii?
Yeah, right.
Before.
Well, before,
it did happen
right?
before.
Yeah,
so,
it happened way
so
before.
It can't be Pompeii.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Pompeii didn't have two towers as represented in the new city. Pompeii was never addressed as a new city. So what's addressing as the new city? Well, of course, everyone knows New York as New York, the city, one of the biggest cities.
the capital of the world.
Has anyone ever been to York City?
No, that's in Hunter x Hunter.
When was Nostradamus making these predictions?
1400s. Around
14 and 1500s.
there. Yeah, around there.
Okay, so yeah, Pompeii was 79 CE.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's
And
700 plus years before that. So
But other things like at 45 degrees, the sky will burn. Fire approaches the great new city. Immediately, huge scattered flame leaps up. But when they have verification from the Norman.
this
The last
is still
line.
the same prophecy, right?
This is a different quartains. So it's like 4 lines of prophecy. But once you start adding them together, it starts to actually
Make a story.
make a story, or at least add the right ones together. You can actually get something from it. But there's another one, a little longer, and I'll read this out I will avoid all because there's parentheses where it actually goes in and gives a more descriptive detail of like, say, referring to events. But
Skip it.
I'll try to avoid that part. So, from the depths of Western Europe will be born poor folks, a young child, who by his tongue will seduce great many people. His fame will spread even to the Orients. He will become villainous, wicked, infamous, oppressing. Mesopotamia, all made friends of the adulterine Dame, and the earth, a horrible black encumbrance.
It's Kanye West.
Hitler.
It's Kanye West, bro.
Hitler. Disdain and murder, enormous adulteries. The great enemy of all human races, who will be worse than his grandsires, uncles, or fathers. In sword and fire, bloody and the humane. A new... This can zoom in.
My boy's having problems.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties.
A new set of philosophers, fanatics, scoring, death, gold, honors, and riches will be bordering on, and will expand beyond the German mountains. To follow them, they will have support and difficulties. The sudden death of a chief man, and this was referring to von Heidenberg, will have changed
Wasn't
to the political
that his general?
would have changed to a political setup to set another. This is before Hitler. This was the general before Hitler, or leader before Hitler. To set another, aka referencing Hitler in rulership. Soon, though, coming late to so high, and at the low age, political experience, he will have been feared across land and sea. And it goes on. Other things would be the Republic, referencing Germany, wretched and unhappy, will be ruined by a new ruler. Their great horde of maleficent exiles, the Nazis, will make the great break, aka they're referencing Germans, I just don't know how to pronounce the word, break their great contract, the Versailles Treaty. And it's a long one, but the speeches of Geneva will be annoying. Days will become weeks, then months, then years, then all will fail. The lawmakers will condemn their own empty laws. Between the great nations, much discord will arise. The church will oppose them, but important events will agitate them. New sects, fascism, Nazism, communism will spread. Hatred and discord, war, and change will shock everyone. And it continues going. Another one. The royal bird over the city of the sun. 7 months before will make a nocturnal augury. This is talking about the German airship in Paris for 7 months before they actually invaded on that day. The large mastiff, driven from the city, will be angered at the strange alliances. After having chased the deer in the fields, the wolf and the bear will defy each. Poland being the deer, wolf and bear being Germany and Russia. And this continues going on.
Yeah, it's a long-winded thing. I mean,
it's a very long-winded, but it's the point of.
Well,
this is the prediction of Nostradamus.
Yeah, there's been a lot of things that he predicted. I mean, apparently, according to this year alone, Nostradamus apparently has predicted the World War III happening.
Some of those are just made up things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest.
Well, this is coming from the text itself, like his text itself, and
I'll give you some things.
And apparently, someone's gonna step on Mars for the first time this year.
There's talks about Nostradamus predicting the JFK assassination.
Mm-hmm.
Incorrect. There's actually no text. It was from a different book of someone writing in their own perspectives. Same thing for the Queen dying. So there's some of them that people are taking from Nostradamus and changing it to their own predictions.
Yeah.
And like is getting confused, but all these quatrains are coming directly from his book.
Yeah, it's, to me, I don't know, like they can be, at least in my opinion. I guess I'll go first for that. Mm-hmm. The very, you could loosely translate them to a lot of things. Like taking a lot of things, like
Of course.
But and we like to sit there and to me, I throw it up of like I throw it up just like when people turn around and say, "Oh, Bush did 9/11." It's the same fucking thing, Like people are just throwing that up there and like, "Yo, Nostradamus predicted this shit," Like that's just it. To me, it's a lot of words. I'm again, I don't know. I never read that much up on Nostradamus, so I don't know how many other things that he's predicted accurately and got it right. So I can't sit there and say that it's not
but there's
a
also
real
the
thing.
idea of what's yet to come. Like, you may not prove this now, but say if we read it like 2 years from now, something might have happened, might have changed.
Oh yeah, I mean, to be honest though, like I said, anybody can, like, I could predict something from 50 years from now and it could fucking happen. I'm not saying I'm Nostradamus, but like, but
of course, my only thing with Nostradamus is, especially with wording, like the large mastiff driven from the city will be angered by the strange alliance. After having chased the deer in the fields, the wolf and the bear will defy each other. That's a basic breakdown of what happened between Poland, Germany, and Russia after Paris, or after Britain left, or England.
Yeah, no,
that's a little more specific in comparison to what we've seen with the actual Stargate project, whereas like, yeah, it's 7 miles this way.
Yeah,
like this seems a little more accurate, especially because it was the 7-month reconnaissance of Germany over Paris. Like 7 months, like directly on the 7-month anniversary of that reconnaissance, that's when Germany attacked.
That's pretty fucking interesting. Well, we'll start it. So Wes, I'll start with you. Do you believe it? Motherfucker, get to the mic. You believe in Nostradamus' predictions?
Not all of them.
Do you think he predicted things?
He got some things right.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for joining, West.
He got some things right, and he got some things wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, he definitely got some things wrong. Like one of the Cortains is like at 45 degrees north.
That is the. I'm sorry, but that is the most like basis answer ever. He got some things right and he got some things wrong.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Just like everybody in the world, they get some
Definitely.
things right and some things wrong.
Right.
Not unless you're dad, where apparently you get everything wrong. That's
Exactly.
Just,
Exactly. There's no satisfying that man.
Roadblock.
Let's have kids, hon. How wrong am I now?
Roadblock. Nostradamus. Yes, no.
Dude,
you have a fucking. I'm guessing that's a. What is that?
What?
Is that a the thing on a bug on your head, bro?
Okay.
He's like,
Yeah.
did you just freshly shave that head?
No.
Anyhow.
Nostradamus.
Nostradamus.
Yes. I don't know. I'm iffy about it. I can't really say. I've never really read into him, so I don't know what he got right, what he got wrong. It's one of those things where I feel like I'd probably have to do more homework on it myself, so I can actually give an answer.
How unprepared you come.
Yeah, well, I go through a lot during the week. Okay. All right.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't ask about your life story. Cito, I'm gonna get stabbed tonight. I already know that.
Oh yeah.
Cito?
Just like I said of the other two, my only slight difference is like the accuracy a little bit more, because I've actually sat down and read some of the Cortains and I went to the direct ones, so it's like a direct translation from what he's actually said. Because one thing about Nostradamus is that he wrote in Middle French, which Middle French is a combination of French, Latin, and Greek.
So this motherfucker wrote in 3 languages at the same time?
At the same time. It was a combination of all 3. So translations, especially...
that makes sense too, because of the
So he put all you Spanglish people, Spanglish speaking people to shame then.
Yes, basically.
Okay.
Anyways, he wrote in these 3 languages, and it could easily... like, there's some different translations. Like, each Cortain has, like, a slight different translation depending on where you go to. So, it's more of, like, some of the accuracy. Like, the 9/11 ones, I feel like, are a little less specific compared to the Hitler one.
You just want to say that Nostradamus predicted Hitler. That's what you want. This
don't wanna say he
motherfucker.
predicted-
Why didn't we sit there and listen to Nostradamus? We
I
could
don't
have
wanna
saved
say
over
he
10 million
predicted-
lives.
Hitler. I'm just saying is if we're gonna talk about the past, present, we're gonna talk about someone talking about the future, and I'm just saying Hitler was a part of that future.
All right, Dad.
As far as
You predicted this shit, you know.
as far as Bobby Bacala and all the good stuff from The Sopranos, shout out to The Sopranos. I do believe that somewhere along the line, good old Mikhail had some sort of precognition.
Oh,
And I don't believe, that's something we haven't talked about, but I do believe somewhere along the line he was able to think, put stuff together, see a little bit of the future. Maybe he could see
Here's
what was
where
going on.
everybody's thinking. This is where he's thinking.
Well,
Out of the box thinking.
yeah, I think he was the first out of the box kind of guy, but I also think he had a gift of precognition, and I think that you're not going to bat 1,000 here. It's not going to happen, but I do believe he batted close to, I don't know, maybe would you say 600, maybe
250.
There's about 500, 700 Cortains, and some of them.
Why do you say that so angrily, Cortains?
No, I'm just thinking like that's my thinking phase. All right, and then about the one with Hitler, I think consisted of like at least 30 or 40. Then there's other ones that he predicted.
So would you?
So I would say there's like a good like 45 to 50% that he's in the area of being right. Because I'm not going to say he was
batting
right.
for 400.
That's pretty good. I mean, considering if you're going to bat 50, 50,
No.
if you're going to be right half the time, I mean, that's
You make my job
phenomenal
so hard.
at a distance from where he did it from. You know what I'm saying? He did it so far ahead of the curve,
Yeah.
He's like
You
the
know.
Joker.
and who knows what more he's gonna throw.
All right, so my question is to everybody. I mean, I don't know. I haven't done any research, but has there been any other people that have predicted things in the future that have gotten some things right?
I haven't done that much research into other people as I wanted
Supposedly,
to go
Prophet
to,
Muhammad's gotten a lot of things right.
Well, that's more concerned to religious. I'm talking about non-religious. As when
We don't
Nostradamus,
speak about religion here.
as when Nostradamus, it wasn't. These weren't like religious precognitions that like God was giving him. No, this was just things that, if it was going to be precognition, or some future sight or something, whatever it may be, it was. I don't think it was near religious at all.
All right.
There was a woman out there by the name of Jean Dixon. Okay, later on in life, she worked for the Enquirer. I mean, if you really want to.
I feel like
But-
I've heard of this woman.
Jean Dixon predicted a few things early on. The most notable thing she predicted was the psychiatric hospital Willowbrook would collapse, and that was in New York. And she said, I have a horrible vision of this thing collapsing, and the damn thing collapsed. So
And then she got questioned immediately.
yeah, well, and then later on in life, the Enquirer hired her.
All you hear is, "Ma'am,
You're gonna need
can
to
you
come with us.
please?"
You need to come with us.
So,
FBI, open up!
that was in the 70s. That was the early 70s. So, again, did she have precognition? Did she have a dream foretelling the future? Who knows? We don't know. But she did work a lot by giving people advice as far as or predicting their future. How that worked out for those people, I couldn't tell you. But she did predict, like I said, she predicted the psychiatric hospital. And it was going to collapse. There was going to be mass casualties. And she
Josh
was right.
had a dream once
I did.
He was struggling.
Josh.
about precognition about a tall blonde chick with a kid.
No,
A tall redhead with
Tall
a-
redhead. Yeah, it actually freaked me the fuck out for like 2-3 months, because it's like I had a random dream one night and it felt realistic as shit, and it was just I was there standing with a girl who was like tall, redheaded, and had a little girl, and it's a
Amazon.
dream. I don't know if it's mine. I don't know if it's hers. Whatever the case
I
is.
believe in that.
And
I
then
do.
like a
You
year
even finish
later,
the story and you're just gonna automatically believe in it.
I do believe in it.
and then like a year later, I end up with a chick who's tall as hell, but she had blonde hair.
don't remember
and she
this.
did have a child. It was in Vermont.
Oh,
So she was tall
Fucking
chick.
white
She
people.
had blonde hair, and she did have a child, and we did date. And the dream where it took place kind of looked like where my aunt lived at one point in time in Vermont. So I kind of like freaked myself the fuck out.
I had a
like
dream.
my brain made the connection somehow, and I was like,
oh, I was 12 years old, and this was February of 1972.
Damn.
Actually, I was 11. Now I think about it.
You're
And
old as shit.
Pretty up dates.
Yeah, you weren't even swimming around my nuts yet.
Yeah, I mean, this is before if any of the projects that we were talking about today.
Well,
Old ass
I had this
motherfucker.
dream one night, and I can tell you I know exactly where it was, in the middle room next door upstairs. And I dreamt that I was watching television in this room. I could sitting at the edge of the bed, I'm watching the TV. And in the corner of the TV, this man appeared with a surgical mask on, a surgical hat. And on the screen, there was an accident, and the police were coming to this accident. And this person dressed as a surgeon said, "Joe, take a good long look. That's your cousin Virginia Ann. She's going to be dead." Well, about a week later, Virginia Ann died of cancer. I didn't know she had cancer. Okay. And she didn't die in a car crash, but she did die. Now, was that precognition?
Bruja, motherfucker,
What was
bruja.
that? Was that a relative that passed trying to get in my head? I'll never forget that. I literally scared the living shit out of
You need
me.
to get away from this
And
property.
I
That's
remember
what you
telling
need
my
to do.
mother, I said, "Ma, what does this mean?" She goes, "Oh no, don't you worry about that." But apparently my mother did know
Well,
about Virginia Ann because when she
cancer.
passed, the whole house went fucking crazy, and aunts and uncles that don't speak English were coming over the house.
Well,
Yeah.
I had
It'd
it.
be like that.
yeah, it was fucked up.
I had a dream 3 nights in a row, the same dream, but it never. Nick, what?
Was it about a cheeseburger?
No.
you were eating a marshmallow.
No,
you
Jesus
got up,
Christ!
the
I didn't
pillow
make
was
fun of
gone.
any one of your fucking dreams, and everyone has to make fun of mine.
Well, we're at
No,
10:01.
I'll
You
be
wanna
honest
let's
though,
go?
my dream didn't come true, and I'm sad, very sad about. But it was a freaky dream. All right, so the same dream, I was in this like ballroom, this court, and there was this really fucking good-looking blonde at the top, and apparently I was with her. I was dressed to the nines, suit and everything. She had a red dress on. She turned around though, and she had a complete black face. I didn't see what her face was.
That's a fucking demon in your
I had,
sleep, bro.
I had
You need
it
to go to church.
three
That's a
nights
fucking
in a row,
demon in your sleep,
and I
bro.
never had the dream again.
The second he
and
said
that
it's
never-
some freaky shit, yo, you got demons in your sleep, bro.
I can't what to tell. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't dream.
I know the dog flipped out the other night, man. She was up on the third floor. He was up on the third floor. All of a sudden, we hear boom, 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 boom. Something fell, and he fucking took off down the steps. And he stood there, and he would not literally go back in the kitchen. He was
That's a smart dog.
First of all, it was a fucking picture that fell on him. All right, the dog's a bitch.
Well, you know how this house is. It's shadow people all over. The place.
Anywho,
Yeah, let's get this
all right.
wrapped
So
up.
this episode, we have kicked this puppy in the head. Next week, gentlemen, we are talking about astro projecting.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what the fuck that
We
is.
throw the little dog from the Jetsons around. Is that what we do? I might want to know.
What?
Hmm?
What the fuck?
Tell
are
me
we
one of you
talking about?
motherfuckers don't know anything about the Jetsons.
I know what you're talking.
Okay.
Anywho,
Wait,
so
how am I the youngest one here? You guys don't know.
No, I know what I know what the Jetsons are.
I just don't know what
I
the
didn't-
reference is.
I didn't hear what
Was
he said.
Astro the dog or the son? I don't even remember.
I thought it was the dog.
Oh,
a dog,
dude,
right?
I
I don't remember the
know.
characters'
Anywho.
names.
So astro projecting next week.
George Jetson.
There you go.
So again,
His
follow
boy
us
Leroy.
on TikTok. Is this real PC? Follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Basically, it's is this real? You know what it is by now. Please go buy shirts. Look, Get Mentally Fucked season 9.
Yeah.
Go buy that shirt. You know.
All good wear you can wear to Sunday church.
Oh, I am gonna wear this to church one day. I walked past the church yesterday with it on.
You wonder why you haven't faced the demons. Dumb motherfucker.
Our Patreon. At $1, you get the next week's episode a week early. At $3, you get now the really new cemented Wisdom with West and future Cafe Talk with Cito. At $5, you get everything from Tier 1 and Tier 2, and you get a Is This Real True Crime podcast.
And a mug.
And a free mug.
And a mug, yeah.
So please go to our website, www.greenhourmedia.org, and you see in that top bar where Spread Shop is, you see the Patreon, and you see all of our episodes coming up in the next couple of weeks.
It's 2023. Why do you keep saying the www?
Because some people...
You can literally punch anything in to your internet web browser.
I'm talking to people his age.
And the www
Hey, fun
comes
fact,
up.
did you know www is the only abbreviation that actually takes longer than the actual word itself?
World Wide Web.
Yeah.
Well, I want to create a website for him with his new show now. It will be www.www.com.
I like that.
Anywho, we're going to end
Shows
this show
nothing but
now. Yeah.
W's.
Shows nothing but W's. So again, everyone say good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
We'll-
Yatsumi.
we'll
Good night,
catch you-
everybody.
Peace.
We'll catch you guys next week. Remember, everybody, question everything. Good night.
Konnichiwa, bitches. It's Ryu West speaking. If you want to find out more about the Is This Real podcast, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/isthisrealpc or on Twitter at isthisrealpc or on Instagram at isthisrealpodcast, all one word.